Our very survival depends on our ability to stay awake, to adjust to new ideas, to remain vigilant, and to face the challenge of a change. A challenge that came as a blessing in disguise to many through one beautiful soul.
I met Claire a year ago, and it was just right here in Dandora. We were having a program that empowers women who have children with disabilities, caregivers, and we were teaching them how to make soap and how to bake cakes, and just financially empowering them so that they can be financially independent. And during one of those programs, we were in a partnership with an organization known as Y254. And I think at that time, Claire was the project manager. And yes, that is how we met. And I onboarded her into my organization. And she's currently serving as the volunteers and project manager. She's a wonderful soul. I enjoy working with her. She's very focused, very passionate about the community and especially people with disability. She really has a heart of gold and I really enjoy working with her.
I am a mother to one son, very handsome, talented boy. He's called Bradley. I own an IT business called Quest Dynamics. The managing director there. I serve as a volunteer general manager at Ngala Volunteers. I also serve at Ronald Ngala Primary in the board of management, heading the infrastructure committee. I also do film promotions. I'm a trained journalist. Naomi is the one who introduced me to community work. So while I was doing research for my tech company, I was also taking Naomi around to speak about her story, to get personal support from like-minded or people who've also gone through such challenges. And it is because of Naomi that I got to Dandora. So I got to Y254. They had met with Kimani, the founder, at one of the events, and Kimani invited her to come to Y254 and see what they do. So while we were sharing, I realized that Kimani is very passionate, but he is challenged. He's visually impaired. So the founder of the organization is visually impaired, but he's very visionary. So how we kickstarted the journey is because he can speak his mind, I can help to put it down on paper. So while our market research is going on the other side, because I have partners, I'm also doing community work, volunteering with these people, so that I can help them to at least put down what they're thinking, their projects, the projects that they have in mind, and now present them to the world. We also have scholarship programs from American Embassy, whereby if you come out of high school and you have a straight A, full scholarship.
It is said, if you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or walk around it. Finding the wall marked the beginning of Claire's journey of her newfound joy.
My service with Ronald Ngala Primary started off in 2019 at the height of COVID. NTSA announced that they are shutting offices. Most trucking companies, logistics sector, were my clients. So if they're not going for inspection, what need do they have to track their vehicles? So they stopped installing the speed governors. So I stopped selling. I bless God for every opportunity I've had, every milestone I've reached. Through my business shutting down for a while, I got to discover that I can also be helped. Through that, I got to get to communities. Through that, I got to serve with others. Through that, I got to meet people like Nkare. I would not have met Nkare, I would not have met Y254 if it wasn't for just that telling my friend, yeah, it's okay, let's go. After all, I'm home. You know, so finding a purpose at the height of your downfall is, I think for me, was the greatest blessing. And that's what I challenge almost all the youth that I usually talk to when we go to these outreach programs. When I first came to Ronald Ngala, I was coming to request for permission to host an event. It was the World Sight Day, the International Day of the Visually Impaired. So we usually used to market at the organization to, one, appreciate the founder, and also to raise awareness. So the theme was always a mile in my shoes. A few events down the line, I came to realize that we needed to also give back to the institution. So for me, part of the reasons I gave a nod when they asked me to serve in the board was because of where we are, the special unit. For me, when I was introduced to the life of persons with disability, this is something my friend wasn't aware was happening to people. Myself, being brought up in a family where there's no one who is actually challenged. So it becomes very difficult to be aware that this cluster, this is how they live their lives. So now Ronald Ngala has a special unit school where we're seated today. And there's kids who are mentally challenged, but have the most amazing hearts, have so much potential. When you see them creating, which you will see, when you see them creating, you can see that this is a child with not really a vision, but then just a purpose to get to the next level. And you want to help them with that. Because most of them, their parents are challenged. They need access to therapy services before they get to certain levels so that their disabilities can either be reversed or managed. To know that I can help this child in one way or another using my position in the community or just any position, like now serving in the board, then I will definitely give it a nod.
They say a hero is he that is able to face his own fears and leave the ordinary world for the unknown world.
As a victim of gang rape, I had to face similar criminals and actually serve and listen to them and help them. You know, at this point, I was torn between, do they deserve it? They're just like these other guys. What am I doing here? I'm not even being paid. Heck, you know, I had a lot of mixed feelings. But then breaking the barrier meant removing that stereotype that I also had inside me and listening. Because this is someone who's actually been involved in crime their whole life. Some of them were introduced into crime by their parents, by relatives, forcefully, because you grew up in a certain neighborhood and that is what they knew best. And if you didn't, you'd go down. So you were forced into crime. And just hearing the stories of how they got there really helped me to see the bigger picture of it's not always what it seems. Some of them went in willingly. Some of them went in for the sake of being able to afford. It's funny. One of them was sharing that they'd see this gangster and his dressing code, and he joined crime because of how this guy used to kill it. He used to get all the girls. He used to scare the women, all those women who used to speak bad about him and report him to his mother, and he's beaten because of those women. But when they see this guy, they are scared, they shell. So he wanted to be like this guy. So you can imagine in a world where a criminal, a gangster, is your role model. So there's a team, I'm very passionate about them, a team of reformed criminals. And they're now making life better for themselves. They are poultry farming, they are selling ducks. Someone has actually donated land for them to host them. So they have a hub where they come to. And the leader shares that some of them actually do go back to crime, but they're always opening the doors for them and saying, it's okay to come back. You can leave as many times as you want, but the door will always be open for you. When we were serving, or rather when I was serving at Y254, the Persons with Disability CBO, there's a group that we had young single mothers. So these young single mothers were the brave ones in the community to be able to go through with that unexpected pregnancy, give birth, and actually fend for their kids. So getting their stories, I come to find out that there's some of them who were impregnated by some members of this crew, but now the reformist crew. But some of them were impregnated by the reformist crew, but when they were still gangsters.
Constantly scaling up the ladder of community service, Claire has been able to change lives. She has become a darling to the school kids, management, and the community at large.
She's trying very much to look for those who can assist the school, at least the old face of the school to be uplifted, and especially the special wing. They need to have at least a proper toilet. The room where they are learning, they need to have the gadgets at least to start learning some of these things. And we have seen her move to different organizations to try and help the school. She went further and brought to the teachers. There was a group that she brought to the teachers to mentor them on child protection. And this was a seminar that was carried out through Claire. And the teachers really benefited. Because as teachers, sometimes we don't know the legal part of child protection. We just see them. Sometimes they tell us things that we cannot hold. We don't know where to go. Like a small girl coming to tell you that somebody met me, I was raped. So you don't know where to start from. But through Claire, she came and the teachers were at least given light on how we can treat these children, what we can do to assist. Because some of them hide these things to the parents, but they come and open to the teachers.
He who dances at home is surely rewarded, and by serving the community, Claire has surely become a true hero, and the community believes and recognizes her tireless efforts towards an empowered community.
Claire, I would say, is a clean-hearted lady. I would say this because had it not been, especially having that heart for the disabled people, having that heart to the needy and the orphans, she would even carry this to her village in Kisii. But she's looking at this community where she can reach and assist. If given chance, Claire can uplift the community.
There is this one special person that Claire holds dear to her heart.
Oh my, I have to start by thanking my son because that boy goes through a lot. He has this thing where he says, the day that break will come, you will be stinking rich. And I appreciate him because he's like a little human, a little adult, because he understands what I'm going through. He's seen me empowered with money, without, disempowered, feeling low, and he's there. That's the one person I will always attribute all that I am doing for. Because even before him, I was just as empowered, just as active, just as energetic, but now it's top tier. I'm doing it for the future because I don't want to be that parent who depends on my son. Let me take that special moment to just leave it to Bradley. But everyone else who's been part of this crazy journey, even the ones who dropped out, I also appreciate them because It is because of the dropping out that I realized I could actually either thrive on my own, or I could do this, or I could cross that bridge. Not everyone is meant to get to the destination with you. It's the bus. And for me, I appreciate every stage. Think before you post. We are having a great mass of people going through lost opportunities, distress because they applied for a job and this organization linked their social media to their CV and it was not matching. We are actually participating in messing ourselves without realizing it. Knowledge doesn't stop at a degree level, and you don't have to have a university qualification to actually do good or impact, but then it helps to have that degree. It helps to have that master's.